is something pretty remarkable.
This is my movie.
These are our stories.
I am Rojas.
Are you recording right now?
It ruined my life because I lost my mother.
We were really at the age where it was going to affect us the most.
Listen to my story.
This is my story.
Get inspired by us teens.
This is where I can tell my story.
Where teens from New York are given a voice. This is Real Works.
Welcome to Real Works. I'm Byron. This week, 3 very personal short stories by young men making sense of the central struggles in their lives. When Alvis Rojas joined Real Works, his father had just passed away. He hardly knew him, but the pain was real. He turned to his family to learn about the man who didn't raise him, but whose presence continued to haunt him in 99 Hammers. Next.
Some people say that I'm cold-hearted. And I'm starting to think that maybe they're right.
From my point of view, I saw Alvis being strong. But at the same time, I saw a little bit of ignorance in him. Simply because, a lot of people were hurt because of this loss.
I told him, you know what? Come down, come down to see your father. You only came down once to see him. He's really sick.
So I see him, how can you just be like that, so cold?
I was basically trying to make him feel, guilty or something, so that he could pick up his stuff and go and just come see his father.
But the face I saw in Alvis was like a face that, I don't know, like I really don't care. I really don't care about this, It doesn't hurt me that much.
And he didn't listen to me. And that night he passed away.
He didn't raise me. No one did. I was only 4 years old. When my mother and father split up. I never understood why we left. I never questioned it. But because of this, I began to resent him.
Resent him?
I spent years loathing myself because I didn't know who I was. And maybe I blame him a little for that.
I blame him.
I never really felt comfortable with him, so I didn't see him that much.
Why would I want to?
When he came to New York, he called me over and he said he wanted to, come down or whatever. And I helped him, I paid his trip for him. And he came down and he stayed with me for about, 4 months. And, anybody was around, maybe a visitor came, he always said, oh, this is my son. This is, this is Amaury. He never said, oh, this is, my stepson or nothing like that. This is my son. And the way he should treat me, it was like I was one of his own. Sometimes he treated me better than some of his own kids.
He didn't care about me.
Because it was just, I don't know, we connected well. And he knew me since I was small, and I always had this great deal of respect for him. My mother called me and told me that he had a stroke, but I didn't feel bad. I thought, he's gonna be all right. Let me just go visit him and see how he's doing. None of his friends, none of his closest relatives went to see him. So when I saw him in the bed, it totally just broke my heart. I mean, here was this strong man who was not dependent on anybody throughout, the time that I knew him, and through what people told me before, about him. He was never depending on anybody else, and he was having to depend on nurses, doctors, and people to take care of him, because of the stroke. So he felt totally uncomfortable, just because of the way he was being treated, or the way he was feeling. He was feeling like he had to depend on everybody else. Once the next day came, I think that he felt weird.
I was on my way to work, and I received a lot of phone calls.
He knew something was wrong. He was calling for help because he felt bad.
I never get these many messages since I always pick up my phone. And then the first thing I heard was my sister crying, saying, "Yo, Jonathan, Papi died." And I was gonna drop the plate that I had in my hand.
He didn't want to go. Nobody helped him to try to revive him. It was too late.
What did I do to deserve this, huh? My father needed me. I was not there for him. Maybe I do care a little bit.
I found out that day that my father was really a great person, sort of like an idol, you know what I'm saying? He helped a lot of people down in his glory. When he had all this money, my father helped a lot of people. He fed a lot of families. He gave a lot of people jobs. That's something that not a lot of people do, and that's something that I take to pride. I think after Papi's death, Alvis is gonna grow up to be stronger. I believe he's gonna do great as well. This is gonna be stuff that should push him even further. I mean, the stuff that Papi did was something that's positive, something you should take to pride. And I believe, that should be a good example for him to make it in life.
Raffi Pope-Sussman wanted to understand what was it that made his older adopted brother Danny so withdrawn and different from the rest of the family. He went looking for answers in The Trouble with Danny. Next.
This family is completely insane, especially you. You and Mom and Dad, everyone in this family is conspiring to drive me out of my mind.
When I told my brother Danny I wanted to do this film, he wanted to know what it would be about. I told him everything.
Danny was a sweet little baby. He was sweet and gentle and a delight to be with.
I always thought of sunshine when I thought of him.
Danny was a relatively quiet boy, good-natured.
He was a gentle friend. He loved other little kids, and he loved to play.
He was a little straight-haired, blonde-headed boy. He was cute.
When we were younger, we had a great relationship. We played all sorts of games together, and we talked every night before going to bed. It wasn't until he got to high school that we started to drift apart. But it wasn't just with me. It was with everybody, and it became the family obsession. What is wrong with Danny?
He was chatty when he was a little boy. He would chatter away. He got quiet as he got older.
As he became an adolescent, he became, I think he became more withdrawn from us.
And stopped joining the group, would always drift out.
He wasn't rebellious, and he really didn't start being rebellious or start getting, you know, not quite the way one might want your kid to be when you're hoping they're going to be the best they can be. I guess sophomore, junior year.
I know I'm very different than everyone else in this family.
How?
Well, first of all, I'm much more laid back than everyone else in this family. God knows I'm more laid back than you.
Danny is different than the other members of the family. I think that, I mean, he looks different. He's very tall. I mean, he's adopted.
I don't think the fact that doesn't have the same genes as I do, I don't think that has to do with it. I think that everybody has a different dynamic. Everybody has a different chemistry. I see it with people in one family all the time.
I feel like I'm a member of the family. I'm just the only sane member of the family.
Anyone who sees Danny immediately notices that he looks nothing like the other members of our family. But the differences aren't just physical.
I think we're just more guilt-ridden, more, what's the word I want? We're more achievement-oriented.
We tend to get really anxious about things. We get nervous about things. And we sometimes feel overly responsible for things. And those are characteristics that I don't see in Danny, and I think Danny has trouble understanding in us. He thinks we're crazy.
If you were living in a family of people entirely made up of people like me, you would go completely insane. You would not be able to deal with it. You would be bothering everyone else to get their done, and everyone else wouldn't want to do.
Raf works really hard at school. I really like working hard on my work. Danny doesn't right now seem to be interested in working really hard. He's interested in, I'm not sure, I don't think he knows what he's interested in right now.
What's he want to do?
Not what mom and dad like to do.
But what is it?
I don't know. I don't know yet. I just like to do what I like to do, and I don't know what I like to do. So if I do it and I like it, then I like it. And if I do it and I don't like it, I don't do it anymore.
Senior year, Danny stopped going to classes completely. He transferred to a new high school, but for now, he isn't graduating.
Because he's not finishing high school, I am very concerned. And because he's not going to do something instead of that, he's not putting his energies into trying to find a job. That really worries me.
He said to me today, or yesterday when we were talking about why he doesn't go to school, because I'd been talking with a friend, he said, yeah, I'm not doing work in school because I don't care about it.
I don't want to go to class. Class is pointless. Going to gym class is pointless. Bitching at me every day to get a job. I'll get a job. I'm going to get a job because I want to get a job, not because you're telling me to get a job.
I'm just worried about him being able to function well for himself in this society that we live in now. And I want him to be able to contribute, and I want him to be able to support himself.
You don't know how it's going to turn out with anyone, but it's worrisome how it's going to turn out with Danny.
I really don't know exactly how he feels. If I did, I think I'd be able to do better. I don't know.
My goals, I have long-term goals, and then I have day-to-day goals, and my day-to-day goal is just to basically try to enjoy every day and do something enjoyable every day.
And Mom and Dad's in the
Everything must be done towards to accomplish one certain goal, and whether or not you enjoy your life does not matter as long as you're accomplishing your goal. I mean, I've got a long time left in my life to decide what I want to do. I'm only 18.
So what is wrong with Danny? Has he totally lost touch with reality, or is he just living in a family of lunatics? It's hard for me to say, but I do know this. Whatever he ends up doing, it's going to be his decision, whether we like it or not.
I think Danny has a lot of really great qualities, and I think he's got to find a way to use those.
I hear him talking with other people and with his friends, and he has very interesting opinions about music and about just trends in the world, patterns of behavior. I hear him talking to other people, and I want to hear more of this. With me, he freezes and he won't say most of it.
I'm confident in myself that I can get all my done if they would just leave me alone and stop bothering me every day. And that's all I have to say.
In our final film tonight, a gifted young poet and dancer combines his talents to communicate the experience of being bipolar. Saalim Muslim's beautiful and poetic, Losing My Way.
Listen, my life is chewed up, surgery can't fix a thing. I take medicine for my pains, but I still feel the same. I guess you could blame my mom for all the suffering she put me through. Let me explain to you a little what bipolar do. When I'm on the right path, both the good and the bad tend to mess me up. Can someone pass me a cup? Cause I'm being spent out of control. My soul screams are hidden in my heel and my toes. This pain got me worthless. See me sliding all over the floor. All over the floor, see me sliding. This really sucks. As much as that devil disguises the industry who tries to get me to put my sake on a contract. Me not knowing better, I'm real quick to snatch. What's this? Little Saalim, change for you?
Give me that. You're different. We love to change individuals.
Come into my world, dance your soul away. You're often misguided for moving what is right due to a power struggle between the positive and negative of your life. This is a mere illustration of what being bipolar feels like. My name is Saalim Muslim. I made my film in '06. The style of the film was really me just finding every point that I could express myself, like with poetry, and sort of breaking the ice, blending that with the dancing. Speaking to like my mentor and trying to convey that message to him so he knows what I need to do to get it done was a big task. And I went through a whole lot of problems, then eventually we just got it going. My mentor, John Miller, it was very cool working with him because he didn't doubt what I wanted to do, and he didn't just reject it and just throw it on the floor. He saw what I had on paper. He asked me for a storyboard, and I couldn't draw. He thought like, okay, I see what you're trying to do, and he did his own drawing, and then it sort of matched. So it was always like we was meeting halfway. Showing a film that was very personal to me was hard because it's like I'm digging inside of myself. Whenever you're creating, you're internalizing your efforts to bring something out to people. So you go inside to go out. When you're showing someone your film, it's showing them you with no shell, no casing. So it's sort of nerve-wracking. And I don't know who it influenced or who it touched, but at times I was getting emails and they was telling me, you know, they want to show it at a hospital or they want to show it here, and then that sort of influenced me to think that maybe I did reach people who were bipolar or who were schizophrenic. At the screening, there was definitely a silence. I remember when my film came up, it just was like the black dog and like a white dog pack. But definitely after it was shown, people was just like, wow, that was so different compared to all the other films. And it was very brief. It relayed the message. I've done some acting, like I was in Beyonce If I Was a Boy video. I've been in a bunch of other videos dancing. I've been on Dance to Go Home DVD. That was like an Uptown DVD. I performed with Cirque du Soleil. I've battled hundreds of dances. I've traveled to almost every state in the US, promoting myself. I started my own dance genre called Mutations. New York Times did an article on me in '08. I think making that film helped me because it showed me there was a lane for expressing yourself. I mean, I knew it was possible, but I didn't know the steps. And when I came to Real Works, they showed me the anatomy of creating a film. One piece of the film is a part when it has my face and it's hidden in the dark, right? It's on this big fan-made trailer I have. Seeing that, then seeing the whole film, it's like it brought me back to a place where I was very insecure in myself and very uncomfortable. It reminds me like where I came from, a place where I wasn't able to like express myself, and I was fighting a lot, and I was doing a lot of things to try to get it out, and not knowing how to get it out. I got a story to tell. I guess that's the premise of a filmmaker, really. Really stems from my ideas, really, just me just being me and finding ways to channel that and being more comfortable. Like I said, just going more internal and just seeing who you are, and then just seeding, planting seeds and letting that tree of yourself just grow.
That's it for this week. Join us next time for more unfiltered voices of Brooklyn teens on Real Works with Byron Hurt.